They're coming to get you, Barbara. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Blu-ray review. This is the Blu-ray of Night of the Living Dead by the legendary George A. Romero. This is a Criterion release. I don't think I've done a Criterion Blu-ray review on this channel yet. If you're not familiar with this film, and I'm pretty sure most of you are, because this is a gigantic film, I think, not only when it comes to the horror genre, but I would say when it comes to film history in general. So a little background about this movie before we delve into the packaging. This is, of course, directed by the late George A. Romero. This is a film that came out in 1968, and it is a super low-budget horror film. And it is also a zombie film. And why it is so important to mention it is a zombie film, because this is the film that is the basis, the foundation for everything we pretty much know now as the zombie genre. This is kind of where it all really started. Before this film came out, we did have zombie-type movies. We did have movies that referenced creatures that were zombies, but they were more of kind of just the dead coming back to life. This is the film that gave us the nuances that we know now. The idea that zombies not only come back from the dead, but that they also have to feed on human flesh, that they have to eat humans in order to keep going, in order to survive, and also, I believe, develop the idea of how to defeat them, which is basically destroying the brain. If you watch things like The Walking Dead, or if you've seen many of zombie movies that are on right now, they all take elements from this film. With that being said, let's take a closer look here at the packaging. I believe this is original art, which Criterion tends to do for a lot of their releases. Pretty much all of their releases nowadays all have original art. And here you hear on the side is the spine, which has the title of the film, as well as the number in the collection. We are up to number 909. That is right, there are 909 films in the Criterion Collection, and it just keeps growing. But on the back here, you have a list of all of the details. Don't worry if you can't read them because of the glare. I'm going to be going over all of them very soon. And up here are the technical specs, the audio specifications, things like that. What is so interesting about the packaging, it is not a standard Blu-ray case, or at least not a standard Criterion Blu-ray cases, which tend to be a little more thicker and clear plastic. This is actually a digipack because it is a 2-disc edition. The film, as well as the 3 commentaries, are on the first disc, and then all of the supplemental special features are on the second disc. There are that many special features where it definitely warranted a second disc. Digipack is not something that Criterion typically does. They do it with their special releases. They do it with their 2-disc releases typically. They used to do it years ago when they were releasing the dual format, both Blu-ray and DVD together in one edition, which is something I personally really like, but they've since gone away from that. With it out of its case, you get a nice wraparound picture here of original artwork, and if you were to spread it out, you see that it creates an entire giant picture, which is really cool. I really do enjoy that. Unfortunately, when you open it up, all you really get is kind of a plain inside, which I guess is not so bad considering you get such a great outside, but here you also get the insert that comes with every release from Criterion. And I'll open this up, I'll just first give you a look here at the discs. Here you have disc 1 on top, disc 2 underneath, and like I said, there is absolutely no inner artwork, which is unfortunate. All you get is a plain black background. Here you have the insert, and what they've done with some of their releases, not all of them, typically you get a nice thick booklet. Here is more of a poster booklet, if that makes any sense. You unfold it here, and it's a poster slash booklet combo, where here you get the picture of a zombie, and on the back here is a nice long essay. You can all see that here. It is nice, but I do kind of prefer the booklet. It kind of feels like I'm getting a little bit more for my money. But let's get into the special features that are on this release, because there are quite a few, which is great because this is a film I think that really deserved the deluxe edition, because for years it had been floating around in the public domain. It had come out in various DVD releases. This is actually not the first time it's been on Blu-ray. It's been on Blu-ray a couple of times in the UK, and it's also been on Blu-ray here once before. I believe Mill Creek put out an edition very recently to when this one came out. So first up here we have a new 4K digital restoration. I've watched this film before on DVD and it is light years better than anything we've seen before. And this new 4K restoration was supervised by director George A. Romero, I assume before he passed away recently, and as well as co-screenwriter John A. Russo, sound engineer Gary R. Striner, and producer Russell W. Striner. New restoration of the monaural soundtrack, supervised by Romero and Gary Striner, and presented uncompressed. Night of Anubis, a never-before-presented work print edit of the film. If you've never heard the term work print before, it essentially means the film is not done. It is a version of the film without all of the finishing touches on it, essentially. New program featuring filmmakers Frank Darabont, Guillermo del Toro, and Robert Rodriguez. That is about 23 minutes long, and that is very insightful. If you are a fan of those three filmmakers, you definitely want to hear what they have to say about Night of the Living Dead. They are very open about how influential this film has been on their career. Never before seen 16mm dailies reel. New program featuring Russo on the commercial and industrial film production company where key Night of the Living Dead filmmakers got their start. I did watch that. That's about 12 minutes long. It is very interesting how film production company that made this movie got their start, so definitely check that out. Two audio commentaries from 1994 featuring Romero, Russo, producer Carl Hardman, actor Judith O'Dea, and others. Archival interviews with Romero and actors Dwayne Jones and Judith Ridley. New programs about the film's style and score. New interview program about the direction of Ghouls featuring members of the cast and crew, new interviews with Gary Striner and Russell Striner, newsreels from 1967, trailer, radio spots, and TV spots, plus an essay by critic Stuart Clowens, which you of course saw in the insert. So that is all of them. This does have quite a few special features, so it's definitely worth getting for those, and of course for the film as well. Like I've said, it looks and sounds fantastic. I highly recommend getting this if you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of the Criterion Collection. This is another one of their great releases. So with all that being said, this has been my Blu-ray review of Night of the Living Dead put out by the Criterion Collection. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.